Hey everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Case. I'm Crystal here with a special edition of Beyond the Case. This is where we give families from across the nation a chance to get the stories of their missing loved ones out to the public. This morning, we're joined by the mother of a woman who went missing back in 2005 while she was pregnant, on the verge of giving birth to her second child. Her story is heartbreaking, and we are here to try to help her get more answers. Good morning, Bertha. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to start with, can you give me your first and your last name?
I'm Bertha Probst, and I am Amanda K. Jones's mother.
Right. Bertha, can you tell me just about Amanda? I know it's been several years since you last spoke to her, and we're trying to get more attention for your daughter's case out to the world. I want to start from the very beginning. Tell me about the last time that you spoke with her.
It was on August the 14th, 2005, and we spoke right before church. And after we left church is when she went to meet Brian Westfall, and she left her daughter, Hannah, with us. And that was the last time I heard from her.
Tell me about that conversation. Was there anything odd about it?
Nothing really odd, except she was so happy that day. She called us and said that Brian had reached out to her that morning and said he wanted to meet with her. And so they set up the appointment to meet at the Civic Center, which is in Hillsboro, Missouri, after church, and that they were going to go to lunch at Off the Hook, which was in DeSoto. Well, from what I understand, they never made it to that lunch.
Is that common for people in your town to meet at the Civic Center if you want to go maybe someplace nearby? Would that be the easiest place to park?
It wasn't, I think it was easy for him because he worked there.
Okay.
And he also did his showing of his cattle and his horses there. So that was someplace that was, I guess, convenient for him to be at because he had access to everything at the Civic Center.
Tell me why she might have been so happy to have this lunch with him. I've heard from reports that she really didn't have too much of contact with him after telling him that she was pregnant. Is that correct?
That is correct. I guess she assumed that maybe he was going to take responsibility for the pregnancy, for the baby. He wanted her to have an abortion. And her daughter at that time was only 4 years old, but Hannah was she's a very intelligent person. And she spoke up and told him, says, "You're not going to hurt my baby."
That must have been pretty difficult for not only for her to hear, but you to hear it as well.
Yes. She didn't have contact with him after that for a long time.
Until that day.
Until that day when he called her. As far as I know, I mean, maybe she did and she didn't tell me, but as far as I know, she had not had contact with him.
What did police do initially?
Initially, the Hillsboro Police Department contacted Brian Westfall, and they were at our house taking our report, when Brian Westfall called our house. And I handed the phone over to the police, the officer that was there. Mm-hmm. And he had told Brian that they were on their way out to his house to talk to him. Well, then it was the next day that the sheriff's department took it over. They said they were going to take over the case.
What was he calling for?
Well, he had called us twice before that day, and talked to my husband and telling him that he didn't know where Amanda was. And first he said he had spoke to her and then he left, and that he came back 3 hours later and her car was still there. And then the next time he calls and says he came back at 5 o'clock and her car was still there and she was in it. No pregnant woman on an August day in Missouri is very hot and humid. She had no air conditioning in her car, was going to stay there from 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock sitting in her car.
It's
No
very
records of her on her phone. Her last call on her phone was like at, I think it was 12:15 or something. I might be wrong on the time, that her sister-in-law called her and wanted to talk to her about a Mary Kay order she had put in. And her sister-in-law said that she was very erupt and in a hurry, and that's not like Amanda. Amanda was never like that with Rhonda. She would always talk to her and laugh and cut up. So she found that very suspicious. She kept saying something about a number 8. She said, I think it's 8. Well, at that time, there was a gate number 8 at the Civic Center. So I don't know if she was trying to give her a clue that she was somewhere in that gate number 8, you know? I don't know.
Did it seem like she couldn't give her too much information during that phone call?
Yeah, that's the way it seemed like she couldn't give her too much information. She didn't act like she was with anybody or not. She didn't tell her. She kept saying, I think it's 8. I think it's 8.
Interesting. And there wasn't a question that was prompted for her to give that answer?
No, because Rhonda said that there was nothing in the order that indicated an 8.
So it seemed as if she was trying to give her a hint.
That's what we think.
Did they ever do a search of that location where gate number 8 is?
I don't know if they did gate number 8, but they claimed they done a search at the Civic Center. And then they did another search later on in years. I don't remember what year it was. 2019. That's what it was the year that her daughter graduated high school. They did another search and said they didn't find anything. But whether it was at that area, I don't know. Because by that time, those gates were gone. They had rearranged everything.
What did the sheriff's department say about that?
They don't think there was anything. Even to this day, they don't.
They just think your daughter just up and left, well, pregnant.
That is what Sheriff Booyer, who was the sheriff at that time, came to our house the next day. And the first thing he said when I opened up the door, with a big smile on his face, I think your daughter just walked away. No, you're not going to stand there and tell me that. Not when she was about ready to deliver a baby and her whole life was around her daughter. You know, her and her daughter were like 2 peas in a pod. No, she would not walk away.
Did Brian Westfall make any attempt to help search for her, especially since she was carrying his unborn child?
No, he did not. He did nothing.
Did his family hold any memorials or anything for his child?
No, because he claimed it wasn't his, but yet he didn't ask for a DNA test. All he said was offered her money to get an abortion. Why would you do that?
I know that you believe the father of her unborn child is the sole person responsible for your daughter's disappearance. What do you think happened to your daughter?
I think that day that she met with him, that he killed her. Whether he done it premeditated or he did it accidentally, whatever.
That was his plan.
And I think that he killed her, and I believe he buried her on that property.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. Come on in.
Uh,
Go
you
ahead. You could stand right by
you
your
don't
mic.
have to see me, but her brother, the mother's brother, made the statement that Brian Westfall done it.
Wow.
But he was afraid to come forward because he knew that
He's afraid of his sister.
he's afraid of his
He
sister.
said she's very, very mean, is what he said. He told us this on the phone, but he will not speak to authorities about it.
Because he's afraid.
Do you believe other family members of Brian's know something?
Oh,
yes.
sure. I believe his brother did. Well, his brother's dead now. Brian Westphal had means and the ways to commit the perfect crime.
I know we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot about this. How hard has this been for you and for your husband?
It's been very difficult. It has really taken a toll on our lives. It has, it's heartbreaking. I mean, the heartbreak never goes away, no matter how many years it's been. It's, you just don't, I mean, it's one thing to lose a child and to be able to mourn them and bury them, but it's something else to lose a child and not know what happened, and to lose a grandchild on top of that. My heart goes out to other mothers who have been through this same situation as we have.
Does it feel as if it was just yesterday that you last saw her and last spoke with her?
Oh, it does. Many days. Many days I can still hear her laughing. I can still hear the phone ring, because she called me every day. Not just once, but maybe 3 or 4 times a day, because I worked at a bank myself. And we would converse back and forth, you know. Yeah, I still hear her voice. I hear her voice every day in my granddaughter, because she talks just like her mother. She acts like her mother, looks like her mother. So yeah, we still mourn her. That will never go away till the day we find out what happened to her and be able to put her to rest.
I know that you truly feel you know somebody that was responsible for this.
I do. And I feel that there's somebody out there that knows what happened and just won't come forward.
What would you tell that person who knows?
Put yourself in our shoes. Put yourself in her daughter's shoes. You know, think about how it would be if it was your daughter or your granddaughter, your sister. You don't have to say who you are. You can come forward anonymously. Just tell what happened. Let this family have some peace.